Hi, my name is Bea Paxson with Destiny Paintball, and with me now are Destiny NOLA's Tugg Plaisance, and then Jacob Newman.
Yeah, but Newman's a Marine. Newman's an active Marine.
But
And
I'm
you are in the Marines too. Hi.
I'm from Florida.
From Florida. See, I lived there a very long time. Most of my life, actually. 11 years of my life, I lived in Jersey. So this is an interview with Destiny NOLA, who also represent Destiny Kids. So we thought it was pretty cool to have our kids join us. Destiny NOLA hails from Louisiana, and you guys are representing, obviously, the New Orleans area. Tugg, tell me a little bit about your first paintball introduction.
Okay, so the funny story is they used to have a old indoor paintball shack over here. It was a bowling alley upstairs that they converted into a paintball arena, right? And I actually met Phil for the first time there. Phil used to work there, and I would go there with my friends in the evening time, and we would play more like a scenario situation, scenario paintball. We used to have a great time. So fast forward, I guess 20 years later, I took my son out one day to go play paintball and at Phil's, and ran into him again, and we just hit it off from there.
Well, then, so that's incredible that you met him that many years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. Jacob, you guys all formulated the team with Phil's paintball, and that's how I got to meet you guys. So tell me a little bit about that.
So that all started, there was a few of us that were out there, and we started to hear about the speedball community, the competition, the LAX ball, the different tournaments in the area, and we were like, hey, what are we doing? We've been out here trying to play paintball. Let's see what we can do in a competition environment. So Phil was like, hey, let's come up with a name. This is who we're gonna be sponsored under, which would be you, the Destiny flag. We came up with a name. We had a few different designs, came up with the design for the team, design for the jerseys. We ordered our jerseys and then started playing. We were like, wow, this is a lot of fun.
And that's where the relationship for me and having Phil introduce you guys, and then for Destiny's objective and the reason why we have so many different regional teams is because we want to be that passing of the torch situation where we're helping teams kind of, in essence, become in our culture, but we're like a launch pad in it, and that's okay. I mean, Destiny's always kind of functioned that way since the beginning of our 2004 first year, and we've seen so many players go on to other things that even at the pro level too. We have several Destiny alumni that are either current pro players or former. And so we're really thankful that after 18 years of being in paintball, that now we've expanded to almost 250 people, which include you guys. And so now the next chapter in Destiny NOLA's life is at LAX. So tell me about the field at LAX. And now that you guys have kind of done your basic fundamentals and learned some of the beginning entry-level things about the competition of paintball, now you guys are exposed to a brand new level of play at LAX. Tell me how it's been going.
It's definitely something that it's taken us a little bit to get used to because the competition is real. There's D4 players, D3 players, occasionally a D2 player will show up. Occasionally people like Jesse Stevens comes out there because I'm pretty sure that's his home field. So the experience out there it's insane. It's never a dull moment at LAX.
And there's a lot of teams that go there too. So you guys are playing against different styles of play, and it's really advanced your ability to become a better paintball team. And so now you guys recently, did you guys play at LAX at a tournament?
Yes, this previous weekend we played LAX ball. It's a series that he has every year. Yes.
And then also at LAX was what other big Bunker Fest that Chris Reagan
yeah.
Yeah. And so being at that field, there's so many options, so many opportunities, but the next thing that we're looking at, not just playing locally, but now we're on this road to World Cup. And you guys are thinking about, again, participating because thankfully you guys were able to compete in the youth exhibition, which we wanted to kind of prove to the NXL that there's a market for youth. And you
Right.
guys have seen it firsthand. And Tugg, so you guys also met a team that I think gave you guys some Hormesis headbands last year. What's the name of
Absolutely.
that?
Matt Hodges. So Drew Bankston is the owner of LAX, and welcomed Destiny with open arms over there.
Thank you,
Matt
Drew.
Hodges, yeah, absolutely great guy, super guy. And Matt Hodges runs, I guess he's the team captain for Bearcats. And last year he saw the Destiny kids, practicing with the D5 players, practicing with the D4 players, really grinding all year, not always getting the best, but always trying their best. So they did like a little ceremony and gave them a bunch of Hormesis headbands, which, the kids thought was great, absolutely great. They still wear them. They still wear them. So, yeah, we really enjoyed the LAX experience, and they've been great with the kids. Drew's been great with the facility, helping out whenever we need help. And we really enjoyed it. We really feel at home over there.
Well, I think it's awesome what I'm seeing there. And so now as we look on to World Cup, I kind of wanted to have a talk to you guys about what the ideal situation would be now that they're adding a youth division in the NXL's World Cup. And I know that what we were kind of talking about 3-man, and obviously that's like my favorite format, but what were you saying about wanting to idealistically do what type of a division? Would you prefer 3-man, or are you thinking more 5-man?
I like this. I like the 5-man division. Unfortunately, World Cup falls in the middle of the school year, right before Christmas, and I think it's gonna be kind of difficult to get enough kids on a team to have enough teams in the D5 in the 5-man division. I think D3 with the age regulations, 15 and under or 16 and under, whatever they make it, is also going to narrow the scope of kids that you can have. So ideally, I think 3-man would be where it's at.
Well, and again, I think it is because it's based on affordability.
Right.
Flights out of Montana right now are horrific. I mean, at least Missoula, and that's where we are. It costs like $900 for Mike to fly to Maryland this weekend for the ICPL's event. And so for Florida, even in April, I brought my entire family. It cost us over $2,900 in flights.
That is
crazy, right?
Is that with gear? Is that with gear and everything, Bea?
Oh yeah, with our gear bags and everything.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what the price would be for a coast to coast coming from California, like Mark Gong and the Hermans. And so, with the Bearcats, and then we have AC Kids, we've got the Montresor Marauders, and there's this huge surgence of youth players. And on your team in particular, don't you have a kid that's like 11 or 10?
I have the youngest I have is an 11-year-old. I think he's about to make 12, so he'll be 12 for World Cup.
And then you have some 15, 16-year-olds too, right?
I do. I have some 15 and 16-year-olds. I have a 17-year-old, which is probably going to age out here pretty soon, and we hate to see him go. One of our better players, but he's moving on to the big league. So right now,
Jacob, when you guys play X-Ball, Jacob and some of the adults will also join in on that fun, correct?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, the kids, they're kids. They have a lot of energy. They don't want to pass up on a tournament. So if we need to fill spots on the Destiny D5 or the team, we usually grab one of the kids, and they're happy to help.
And that's what I think will also accelerate their learning process. And kids, we want to try to give them everything possible, but we also want to give them somewhat of a challenge too, so they can have that learning experience. And I think having players like Jacob on the team is a huge advantage. Now, going into World Cup, what do you think about the age range? Because that's something else that we're also wondering what the NXL is going to do. What would be the ideal age range in your opinion?
So ideally, I would think, had to make 16 this year, 16 and under, but, 16 by February or something like that. You know, again, narrowing the scope. You know, the younger you make it, the less kids you can have available, and the less teams that you can have being able to compete. I think the larger range, the bigger you make it, the higher the age group, the more teams that you'll have there competing.
And it's like, even if it's so would it be a 16-year-old that just started playing paintball within the last 12 months, something like that?
So
I would think so. Yeah. Maybe start, a beginner ranking, no D5 or D4 rankings or something like that.
Jacob, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Yeah, that's another thing that I was going to say, because like beginners. So for prime example, Matt Hodges' son, Justin, I think he might be 16, maybe 17. And I'm pretty sure he's ranked D4.
No, he's 15.
So yeah, and he's ranked D4.
Yeah.
Wow.
So his playing experience from, say, another beginner, say 14, 15, 16-year-old, his player experience compared to them is night and day.
And I have to agree with you. When we were watching the youth exhibition, I think he was playing on one of the 4 teams. And I think we saw that too. We're like, uh-oh, like that kid looks a little bit beyond the beginner,
This previous weekend we were watching him play, and he got to his bunker and he's sitting there and he's just sitting there looking up and watching the paint and just reading where the paint's going. So his field IQ and stuff like that, like compared to somebody that's new, is like astronomically different.
Right. And I think too, like in the beginning process of all of this, like we talk about the ID system currently, and for the past 20 years, there have been so many ways that people have tried to finagle the system.
Right.
And in this situation too, I think if we do see something like that, but then there's Colton Dahl, you guys know who he is, right? And he plays on the USA, I think U19 team now, or maybe he's on the U16. I can't remember, but he's excellent, and that's somebody that, again, probably shouldn't be accepted into the youth division that we're trying to create for World Cup, because we want it to be more about the beginner process.
Right. So you think?
Okay, you got it, girl. She's hungry. But yeah, so what were you going to say, Tugg? Sorry about that.
So you're thinking, I would think D5, beginner in D5.
Yeah, and again, like Bea to me also, she's going to be 13 by the time World Cup rolls around. She's 12, but turns 13 in July. And we obviously want to see how we can also get her on board, either with you guys or just make another Destiny line.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like she's accelerated hugely. And why? Because she plays alongside us. And so we'll go play open tournaments, and the girl shoots more people than I do. Like, I'm so thankful for that. So awesome. Again, it's that whole passing of the torch, and then seeing the fruits of your labor grow up to make you just proud, that they're picking up on something that you also love. Okay, so these are really good things to think about, as we kind of lead into this youth division. Now, the cost of entry too. Do you think that it should be comparable to what the price is for a D5 5-man or 3-man division, whatever that number is going to be? Or what are your thoughts on that? What is your expectation?
In my personal opinion, I don't think if it's X-ball style, if they're doing like 3-man X-ball style or just 3-man style, and you have to keep in mind what the prizes are, what they're giving out, and what their scope of clientele they're trying to reach to get into that.
Well, and if there's going to be webcasting, and so like in the WNXL, for example, they created the semi-pro field that also the WNXL teams can play on. And so one of the things and ideas that some of us were talking about is that the youth division just have their own field. And then we would assist in providing the staff. And now a 3-man format would be easier, right? Because you don't need that many refs in a 3-man versus a 5-man.
Right. And the prices are cheaper on registration. Absolutely.
Right. And then I thought about taking it further. Why don't we just try to maybe have some teenaged refs that are 18, 19 years old, and have them in the younger age group represent, and then take it even further, have our own webcast, but also have youth commentating, you know, so then we can bring on
That'd be
Colton
great.
Doll and be like, oh my God, did you see that move? You know, that
Yeah.
was fire, you know,
Yeah.
however
Yeah.
the kids
Yeah.
talk. So we'll wrap it up with this.
Okay.
I'm really thankful that you guys are part of Destiny. And I'm so thankful to see the growth of what you guys are doing, and also because of the kids. And I think it says a lot about you two, and Jacob, you being a dad of 3 beautiful young children. Do you think your kids are going to play too someday? Are you kind of encouraging that?
When we leave the field, if we're there late on Sundays, Nevaeh's like, can I take your gun and go shoot? And she'll run up and down the field shooting the gun.
That's
shooting
awesome.
it, rather. She loves it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then,
Destiny and the Destiny organization has given so much to us, especially the kids. You know, all the kids that play on a team have to keep their grades up, their grades to their parents' standards, and you know, they do. They enjoy paintball, so they do what they need to do off the field so they can play on the weekends. Paintball is not cheap, so like I said, they usually do what they're supposed to do so that they can come out on Sundays and practice. So we appreciate everything you've done for us, and everything you laid out for us, and all the help that you've given us.
well, and again, I hope that it also encourages our other teams to grow their organizations and also add these different branches, because it is important for us, especially us long time veteran teams that have been around for almost 20 years, for us to pass that torch down. And so having the knowledge and the experience to be able to say, here's the door that's open for you. We want to show you around, and then give you examples of whatever happens to you guys, we probably have the solution because we've been in it for so long. But for the kids' sake too, I think it needs to be affordable for them. We're in this together. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so thankful to finally get to introduce to you Destiny, New Orleans, Louisiana, with Jacob Newman and Tugg Plaisance. And so I want to say thanks to you guys for taking the time out to tell us your story. And you guys can follow along on Instagram at Destiny NOLA 504.
504, yes, ma'am.
504. You guys have a great night, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Bea. Thank you for everything.